piece, when you basically just do any attack on an opponent, you get 25% attack increase. Now considering you're probably using mixed sets on a lot of these Hexawide characters, the 25% attack from that is already more than a 2-piece. So that's already basically an upgrade, but on top of that, if your character has completed Witch's homework, which is what's going to happen if they're a Hexawide character, just go into the Little Witch's dictionary here and make sure you completed the homework here. And then they will have 20% extra crit rate on top of that. And it works if they're off field or on field. So a lot of these characters, they're basically getting 20% extra crit rate for free. This is very modern because a lot of the more recent modern DPS sets are giving you a lot of crit rate, like MH, Obsidian Codex, Knights of the Skies Unveiling. Now compared to my predictions, which I made months ago, this set is very close. I didn't get the 2-piece right. I guess it's more simple, the attack. But I did get the 20% crit rate right. I definitely wasn't expecting 30-40% crit rate. That would have been way too strong. One thing to note though, is this set, unlike your Hexawide talents, it doesn't technically require you to play a Hexawide team. It just requires you to do the Witch's homework. That's in comparison to a lot of the buffs you get on the older characters. So that is very nice because it means you can safely farm it as a permanent set for your character. Anyway, just to get it out of the way, is this set broken or not? Now this set is strong, but it's not broken. Why? Because even though last patch's Hexawide buffs were very strong, and it made characters like Venti, Klee, Albedo, made these characters borderline meta but not quite. So actually in comparison to newer modern Nodcry and Nalan teams, it's fair that they still had quite some room to be improved. And also one of the things we've been discussing is how, aside from the Mondstadt sub DPSs, most of the DPSs here didn't really have a proper set to use. So I can tell you now, we don't really need to worry about Visual, Albedo, Sucrose. For sub DPSs, the Golden Troop set is already a modern level artifact set, getting like 70% damage bonus, buffing basically 100% of her damage. Similar thing with Albedo, you can get even the set being over 9-10% worse than Golden Troop. And Albedo is basically the same as Visual, except if you did farm the Husk set, that's basically the same as Golden Troop. If not, it can even be very slightly better sometimes, because the Husk set buffs all his damage. Otherwise, for most people, you just stick with Golden Troop since it was more popular. Just make sure to use a defense goblet on Albedo. And lastly, Sucrose is Sucrose. Whatever set you're using, whether it's VV or even like Deepwood Memories in a modern team, whatever you're using, it ain't going to be the DPS set. So almost everyone at the moment is basically using a mixed set with Klee, except if you're playing her in a Farina team where you're probably using MH. Now as I talked about in my previous video, Klee scales extremely hard with crit rate, and we're looking at an overall 16, 18, sometimes even 20% damage increase for the new set. This